Everyone coming in, your mics are automatically turned off. We ask that you keep your cameras turned off if possible, um, just to limit distractions. And then also, I let the authors know beforehand, but in the top right, you'll see like a grid of 4 squares that says gallery view. If you click it, it'll turn to speaker view. So you just see the authors who are speaking, so less screen clutter. And then also, I want to note that Helena graciously supplied signed book plates and little cupcake coasters to Belmont Books. So if you place an order through Belmont Books, those will be included. I don't know how many we were sent, but Estelle, both of your publicists, who is so lovely, and I miss seeing her so much.
She's so great.
Said there is plenty more if we run out.
Fantastic. So, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. She's got lots, so she'll definitely send me more. Yes.
And also, chat is open for everyone who's here, so that means, yes, Stephanie, I will drop a link in the chat in a minute. But chat is open, so you can talk during the event, but it will mainly be used for submitting questions during the Q&A portion. So if you have any questions for the authors, feel free to save them until the end so they don't get lost in the chat. Basic housekeeping stuff. If you're not in the New England area, Belmont Books is located outside of Boston. If you do order from us, we do ship, I believe, within the US. But if you are local, you can do free curbside pickup, which has been fantastic. You can also pick up a coffee. We have like a little cafe, so you can grab some coffee and some books. And then I will get started. If you are a romance fan, we are doing a huge panel of events all day Saturday for Bookstore Romance Day. Starting at noon, we have a historical romance panel with Scarlett Peckham, Vanessa Riley, and Kate Bateman. At 3, we have a sci-fi and fantasy romance panel with Kit Roca, TJ Klune, and CL Polk. And then at 6, we have a contemporary romance event with Alicia Rye, Farah Haran, Priscilla Oliveras, and Tosh Skilton. So it's so many romance authors, but I'm super excited, and I'm sure if none of those authors interest you, there are plenty more events happening at independent bookstores all over the country, so you could probably find one to attend. There's some really great stuff out there. And then, let's see, I have my notes. New York Times and USA Today bestselling author Helena Hunting lives outside of Toronto. We've already discussed that Canada will be a topic of conversation tonight. With her amazing family and 2 awesome cats who think the best place to sleep is on her keyboard. She writes all things romance, contemporary, romantic comedy, sports, and angsty new adult. Jenny Holiday is a USA Today best-selling and Rita-nominated author whose works have been featured in the New York Times, Entertainment Weekly, The Washington Post, and on National Public Radio. She grew up in Minnesota, where her mom was a children's librarian and started writing at age 9 after her 4th grade teacher gave her a notebook to fill with stories. She also now lives in Canada. I'm going to disappear while you 2 ladies talk. I will be in the chat, dropping links, stuff like that. So have at it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hi, Helena.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you? Congrats
great.
On your release.
Thank you. Congrats on your release. That was okay. So it's not. What day did you release? When did
it was? It was a couple weeks ago. It was July 28th.
Okay.
You know how like when you have a book release, it's all like oh, and then it's done, and it just sort of feels like it happened sometime in the past, and it's
yes, and it feels like even though I was like it wasn't that long ago, and I wasn't right. It wasn't that long ago, but it feels like probably about 4 million years have passed.
And we are living in the time where time is meaningless. So
yes, there is no beginning and no end to anything anymore, right?
Well, can I get my fangirling out of the way first?
Sure. You fangirl.
All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna do like a past and present little fangirl speech here.
Okay.
So you don't, she doesn't know this, I haven't told her this. The first book that I ever read of yours was Puck.
Oh.
Way back in the day when it came out. And if you're in, if your audio is not good, that's spelled Pucked. And then there's a whole bunch of other books. And I remember I was a little baby author, and I remember emailing my editor at the time, different publishing house than we're both published with now, saying, oh my God, you've got to read this book. And I'm sort of famous for not being a fan of sports, but that series just like hit all my buttons. That series has like great sibling relationships, which is one of my things. And like, you know, hockey players who are like sweet and sensitive, but also like big hockey players. I don't know. That series, I loved that series.
Oh, thank you.
And then I read, and of course, your new book I love too, but I'm just kind of in awe of how different they are. I mean, you still have a voice that I would say is like,
it stays,
there's a through line, but
yeah, they're
anyway,
very
that's my little awkward speech about how much I love your book.
That's so cool. Thanks. Yeah, well, Pucked is really out there, right? It's a lot. There's a lot happening in that book. The characters are a lot. And I wrote it, so the first books I ever published were Clipped Wings and Inked Armor. And they were super heavy. So in the middle of writing like the heaviest part of those books, I needed like some comic relief. And so I wrote basically the most ridiculous thing ever. And it was super fun. And it was fun. But yeah, very different. My voice is my voice, but the tone, the content is quite not the same, right?
Right. And I think, and Kiss My Cupcake, I mean, obviously you didn't plan this, but to me, it's the perfect sort of, I'm fluffy in the best way. I mean that as a compliment. It's like the perfect fluffy antidote to, you know, the world right now.
To 2020?
Yeah, it's funny, but it's like smart funny
But it is fluffy, and I'm like, oh, should I say it's fluffy? But it is. It's like light buttercream. It's just light and fluffy like buttercream.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And you know how like we all love romance because we know we're gonna get the happily ever after.
Yes.
But I feel like sometimes you're in the mood for a book that you just know like the angst isn't going to be dialed up to.
It isn't going to,
you know?
it's not going to rip your heart out along the way. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And this one, I don't do that. I don't do that. Sometimes I do that, but not absolutely not in this one. Tell me, okay, so Paradise Cove is set in like a beach town, right? And okay, so can we talk a little bit about the inspiration? Because this is a leading question. We both know where I'm going with this. But can we talk about that? Let's talk about why a little beach town, and yes, let's talk about that.
Well, my joke I always say is that I'm like pioneering the subgenre known as the Canadian beach town romance.
Yes.
There are beaches. There's actually a lot of beaches in Canada.
Oh, there's so many beaches, and beautiful ones, like beautiful beaches.
Right. So it's set in a fictional town on Lake Huron.
Okay.
If you know the area, which I know you do, I won't get too much into it, but there's little bits of there's sort of like the residential area of Grand Bend is with the main street of Collingwood.
Yes.
And then the lift bridge is lifted from Lake Erie from Port Stanley. So like I've kind of cobbled together a lot of little things.
Together. So, okay. And so all of these things are probably not familiar to most of the people who are watching or listening, but they're all very familiar to me. And so I'm like, I love that you've pulled all these pieces together and made it into its own fantastic fictional town where you can, I don't know if feels like home, right? Doesn't it feel, I don't know, it feels like home. It feels like being
it feels sort of like aspirationally home to me. Like I vacation in that area a lot. I am, I'm more of a city person. Like if you put a gun to my head and maybe choose somewhere to live, I think I would still want to be in a city, but
yes.
it's kind of the fantasy of living on a beach.
Yeah. Well, it's beautiful, right? Yeah, we have so my parents have a cottage in Muskoka, or just like kind of
Mm-hmm.
outside of
Mm-hmm.
Muskoka, and it's like it's just such a calm place to go, right? And
For sure, for sure.
yeah,
So let me ask you, I purposely made this town fictional because
yeah.
it's like easier. It's the sort of cheating way to do it
Then
in my
yeah,
mind.
yes.
So your book is set in Portland. What made you choose that? Is that right?
Okay,
It is
so
set in Portland, right?
it's set like, yeah, ish, yes,
Okay.
vaguely. I didn't set it, I never specified a town,
Oh, okay. All
but
right.
set out in like the Seattle area, right? So I
Okay. All
pulled
right.
from there and like looked at the streets and did all them. I so desperately want to go there, but not right now. Yeah. Right now I'm just gonna stay right here. So part of it was because there is a very small connection between Kiss My Cupcake and the All In series, which moved from Chicago to Seattle when yeah, from book 1 to book 2. So, but it's like one scene, that's it, where there's like this little connection, and I pulled them
Okay.
together, and I was like, okay, well then now this book is now set here. So that's how that happened.
Ah, okay.
But I
Okay.
also I love like that you're just so, I love being close to water. Like anything that
Right.
is in driving distance to water makes me happy. I don't know if that's a great answer or not, but it is the truth.
No, I don't know why I had Portland in my mind. I guess
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, it's set out that way. The other side, kind of still close-ish to Canada, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Let me ask you one more question about this book. So, they are Harry Potter fans.
They are Harry Potter fans, and you have Harry Potter fans in Mermaid Inn, right? Or there's Harry Potter.
Well, there's a little bit, but are you a Harry Potter fan?
I am absolutely. Are you a Harry Potter fan?
I am a huge Harry Potter fan.
Oh my! I love Harry Potter. I have read all the books. And my daughter is not, reading is not her favorite thing, like big books, but we did all the audio. Like before reading it was going to be possible. 4 years ago now, yeah, we went to Scotland, and then we went to England, and we did the whole Harry Potter world kind of tour thing.
We did that in February. That was like our last pre-pandemic thing
before the world kind of like fell apart. And it's just the coolest thing ever. So we listened to all the books before we went, and that was like probably my third time through them, I guess. Yeah, so I'm a huge Harry Potter lover.
I read them, actually not when they came out, but like in the mid 2000s, before I had a kid, and then kind of revisited them with my child.
Yes.
Reading them out loud to him before he was reading chapter books. And reading that series as a parent, I think, is a whole different thing. Like with he sees the thing that he wants to see the most is his parents in the mirror, and the sort of kids on their own learning to be brave. And I would be reading it. So then he became obsessed. So now we have sort of like a household Harry Potter club.
I love it. That's amazing. That makes me so happy. Okay, so can we talk also about pizza and pineapple on pizza?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's pizza in Paradise Cove, and there's a debate as to whether or not pineapple is or is not a topping that is acceptable.
Well, I don't think there's really a debate. I think there's a debate in the world, maybe.
Yes, there is a debate in the world. What is yours?
I am fine with, I actually don't have a strong opinion one way or the other. I'm fine with pineapple, but I don't, I'm not a crusader for it.
No,
I'll eat it.
I won't tell people that they're not allowed to not like it, but I love it.
For you.
I like it. I want it on my pizza.
Well, you know what I learned, and I should have looked this up, but apparently Hawaiian pizza was like invented in Windsor, Ontario, which I did
No
not
way.
know. Right. So if you poll Canadians, they are much more pro Hawaiian pizza
Pineapple, then, oh, well, that would make sense if we are the creators, Canadian.
Right.
Again, we created something awesome. Right up there with maple syrup. Do you like maple syrup?
Love it. Pour it in my coffee.
Real. Yes, it's so good in coffee.
I actually, I'm gonna, like, you guys are, this is like a Saturday Night Live skit or something. I don't have it with me, but I carry a little tiny bottle of maple syrup in my purse.
Do you? Okay.
That's like how much of a stereotype I am.
That's perfect, because we used to, there's a restaurant called Sunset Grill. I don't know if you guys have it in London, but we have them here. And they will offer real maple syrup, but it comes in these little tiny bottles. And I would hoard the tiny bottles so that I would carry them around. Every once in a while, though, one would come open in my purse, and it's not
I've also had that happen.
Yeah.
But I will say to everybody, if you are a coffee drinker, like bad coffee can be just perked right up with not a lot. Like I don't like it really sweet, but a few little drops of maple syrup.
A little bit, just enough. Oh, man, magic in your mouth. So good. So good.
We should have had like maple cocktails or something.
We should have done maple shooters. Can you even imagine what that would be like? Oh my goodness. Next time. We'll have those little like maple flasks, and we'll just sip it.
Yeah.
Like
before we went live, we were I don't know, we got talking about like traffic on the highways that's between our cities, and I don't know, just like we were talking like total Canadian posers, and thinking next time we should play it up, and we'll like wear a plaid. And you should have worn plaid. That goes with your book.
I should have. I would have if all my things weren't packed away in boxes right now. So yeah, most of my dress wardrobe, Blair in the book wears all the super fun, funky 50s kind of dresses. And I have a very extensive dress collection. It's so extensive that I broke my closet with them. One day I walked in and I was like, oh, that does not look right. And then my husband had to fix it. And then I had to move half of my dresses. It was a situation. That
actually makes me wonder. I wonder if we should back up a little bit and tell people like the basics of Kiss My Cupcake if they haven't read it.
Oh yeah,
out, right?
Yay. We didn't even do. Okay, so Kiss My Cupcake. I even have a copy sitting right here because I'm prepared. Is a enemies to lovers, opposites attract romance about two neighborhood shop owners who battle it out for business. Oh my goodness! I don't know if you can hear that, but there is an ice cream truck that drives by our house every single day, and I swear I think I would lose my mind if I had to sit in that truck and listen to that soundtrack all day. Anyways, so Blair owns a cupcake and cocktail shop, and Ronan owns the pub next door, and he is putting in an axe throwing enclosure against her merch wall, and they meet over some broken unicorn martini glasses, and they do not hit it off at all. And there's some poop and dog poop, and it's an unfortunate situation there. So but it's a fun romantic comedy. It's light and fluffy, like we were talking about buttercream. That's what it is.
And I think that when she hosts the Harry Potter trivia contest, that I forget if he wins but he surprises her with his knowledge of Harry Potter. And I feel like it's one of the moments where she kind of stops and reevaluates him a little bit.
And she's like, yes. And she has him, he comes in like Slytherin garb, right? And she's like, of course he is. But yeah, his Harry Potter knowledge shifted her opinion of him a little bit. And she'd asked him if he'd read the books or watched the movies, right?
Right. And of course he has the right answer, right?
He did, obviously. I mean, you can't just watch the movies. That's not right. Okay, I have more notes. Do you have notes? Do you have other things that you want to ask?
No, you go
What's
ahead.
next for you? Wait, you have a book coming out in is it October, called A Princess for Christmas? Can you talk to me about that? What is it
Sure,
about?
I
Oh my
have it
gosh,
here.
you got so your face lit right up. That's so great.
Well, it's my I shouldn't say it started as a joke, but it kind of started as a joke, not like a mocking joke. But my dad loves to watch Hallmark Christmas movies, like loves them. And I obviously I'm not going to be visiting this year, but usually I go and visit between Christmas and New Year's, and we sit and we watch them all.
Yeah.
He actually might even be on here. If you're on here, hi Dad. He
awesome.
can never, like, he is completely credulous. He'll be like, how is this ever going to work out? Like, he's, astonished anew when it works out. And I'll be 10 minutes in and I'll say, I think there's going to be a ball, and then the stuffy butler guy is going to end up saving the day, and and he's like, how did you do that?
How do you know?
So
how do you know?
I started to think, maybe I should try to write one of these. But then my kind of elevator pitch is that it's a Hallmark Christmas movie in book form, except with like a lot of sex and swearing. So it's not really like Hallmark.
Yeah, but
not Hallmark appropriate.
It's it's level up Hallmark.
But it's very like purposely tropey, it's like a gender swapped royal Christmas romance. He's the cabbie from New York, and she's the princess of the fictional Alpine country, and she's in New York to give a speech at the United Nations. She has a snafu with her limousine, as one does, and she has to hail the cab to get to the party she has to go to because she has to have a trade meeting to save the economy of her country, and he picks her up.
That's amazing. Okay. Oh, I love this. This sounds like it's going to be so fun.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that for sure.
That's very exciting. Very cool. And there is another book coming in your Paradise.
Yeah, the third and I think last book of that series is coming in the spring. Ooh. And this is the one, I got my books confused when we were talking because I don't know, my brain is fried. This is the one that has warring neighborhood business owners.
That's right. So, you have warring neighborhood. Yes. Yeah. She owns the cinema, the theater owner, and he owns a bar.
Yeah.
And they fight with each other.
They fight with each other through all the books, and then book 3 is there.
I love enemies to lovers. I love it.
Me too.
It's so fun. The banter's fun, right?
Well, and I feel like that's one of the reasons that I loved your book. You did such a good job with it. I feel like I always end up writing something a little bit less than enemies to lovers. I don't know. I can't make them be mean enough to each other. I love to write it, but I feel like I'm less good. I love to read it, but I feel like I'm less good at writing it. So they end up kind of like seeing each other's point of view too early in the book. I'm doing a good job selling this book, aren't I?
Well, I want to read it now, so now I need to read it so that I can figure out how I feel about what you just said.
Yeah, I mean, do you find that the tropes that you like to read are also the ones that you like to write?
I don't know. I really like second chance romance. Like I really love reading those, but I've written a few of them, but I really like reading people who have a history with each other. I also love forced proximity.
Right.
And I don't know. I never really thought that I don't think I really thought about whether or not I was good at writing enemies to lovers. I just really wanted them to I wanted them to just get on each other's nerves. And it was so much fun to do. It was so much fun to do.
But there's, what I love about the best enemies to lovers, and this is one of them, is the sort of like crackling awareness that we have as the readers or the audience, like it's like a big wink.
Yes.
You can see what's happening even though they can't.
Exactly. Yes.
I love that.
Yeah, and it's so and when the tension, because there's such a fine line between love and hate, right? There's that line is so fine, and especially when people get annoyed at finding somebody attractive. Like it's frustrating to be aware of an attraction that you really wish did not exist, because it would be so much easier if it wasn't like that.
Yeah, and I find it hard to make them annoying enough, but sort of rehabilitatable. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
it's a fine line.
There is a fine line. There is a fine line. And you don't want to make them so annoying that people will be annoyed by them.
Or like genuinely mean, or
Yes, and not ever like intentionally malicious, right?
Right, exactly.
Yes. Yeah. Can you tell? Okay, I have a question for you. Talk to me
Okay.
about grilled cheese. What?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Grilled cheese. So
Yes.
I don't have the best memory. Like never have. I just am one of those people who, like, I read a book, I like it, it's gone. And it's kind of true about my own books a little bit, like less than other people's books that I read. But so I was writing a book a few years ago, and there was a scene where the hero was making a grilled cheese for the heroine. And I thought, this feels a little familiar. And I realized that of the last 5 books I had written at that point, 3 of them had like a grilled cheese scene. And one of them was just like, here, we're just cooking something, here's the grilled cheese. But one was like,
it was like
wounded, it was a caretaking, middle of the night, what would you whip together? And in all cases, the hero was doing the cooking and was not maybe the best cook, although in one he was. And I had like a little not panic attack, but I thought, oh my God, like, nice job, Jenny. Like, could you think of something original? And I told my agent about it. I was like, I'm plagiarizing myself. And she said, no, you have a brand and you're returning to themes that are being expressed through grilled cheese.
Yes.
So I was in the middle of editing this book, and not this book, but a previous book. And I was talking to my editor and I said, this is the thing that's happening, and now I think I might want to do it on purpose, and it'll be like a little Easter egg.
Absolutely.
So I started doing that. I don't know if I'll do it forever. And in some books, it is one book ends with the grilled cheese truck.
Oh my gosh.
But sometimes it's just like in Paradise Cove, it's just, again, they're cooking in the middle of the night. And actually, my editor, and I think your editor, Leah, is online with us. And he's a fisherman, and they're out of food. It's late at night, and he's got frozen trout in the freezer, so he makes a trout melt. And I remember when we were editing it, she's like, fish and cheese, that's kind of gross. And I'm like, sorry, gotta happen. So I don't know if I'll do it forever, but for now, it's a fun little thing.
I think it happens. I think we all have something, right? Like somebody always has like some sort of a ridiculous love of some kind of candy. And I always have, there's always like a candy or a treat or whatever that goes along.
Well, but it becomes fun because then people look for it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. These Easter eggs are awesome. Oh.
All right, Helena, do you think it's time for lightning round questions?
Yes, less lightning round. Okay, I'm ready. I have a question. Okay.
Should I ask you first?
Yeah.
Since I just gave my little grilled cheese speech?
Yes. Perfect.
Okay, so everybody, we decided to break up like yammering with a little lightning round question, and she doesn't know what I'm going to ask her.
No.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
You can only have one of the following for the rest of your life: cupcakes or cocktails.
Oh, cupcakes. Cupcakes. I'll take the cupcake.
Okay. What is your Harry Potter house?
Gryffindor.
You can teleport yourself, your family, and or your close friends anywhere in the world right now for a magically safe holiday. Where will you go?
Bora Bora.
Oh. First celebrity crush?
Michael J. Fox.
Alex P. Keaton format?
Alex P. Keaton, absolutely. Oh my gosh.
Do you believe in fate?
Yes.
Would you want to live forever?
No.
If you could have a do-over of one of your books, which one would you choose?
Popped Up.
Why? I shouldn't ask that.
You can ask that. I would, there are a couple of scenes in in there that I would have shifted, because I never specifically say, one, it's only from Miller's point of view. There is no Sunny's point of view. And if I was going to go back, I would adjust scenes, and I've thought about it ever since I wrote that book. I would adjust scenes so that the reader is aware that Sunny is going on this camping trip that she goes on, because she needs to be there for her best friend and for no other reason. So that's, yeah. And I actually would have put her POV in there as well, just a few times. But I'm not going back to a book I wrote 4 years ago to do that right now. I just don't have time. Okay, next question.
All right, we already know the answer, but enemies to lovers or friends to lovers?
Enemies to lovers, enemies to lovers. Yeah.
All right, and finally, this is the question that my friends and I made up, like my university friends and I made up, and we kind of use it as, I don't know, we talk about it a lot because we're cool that way.
Okay.
If you could have a third tap in your kitchen, so you have hot water, cold water, and you have a third tap that dispenses a liquid, what would be in that tap?
Fizzy water, like carbonated water.
Yay, that's it.
That was good, good. That was great. Yeah, that's an easy answer. That or coffee. But
see, I always used to say, back in the day, I used to say fizzy water, but then as I became an adult,
yeah,
I thought,
coffee.
Actually, it should be something that's more expensive.
Yeah. Oh.
Like, it should be like Prosecco or something.
Oh, cold brew.
Or forget Prosecco. It should be,
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good one. Estelle, cold brew. Yeah, that would be great. But yeah, Prosecco would be lovely. Really pricey, like Cab Sav would also be nice.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think I always said sparkling water because that was like mainly what I drank. But
yes. Yeah, that's fair. And I love for sparkling. I just like water a lot. Okay. So my turn. If you could buy any food right now, what would you buy?
I have to eat gluten-free, so there's a lot of foods that I would love to eat. If I could magically find like gluten-free deep fried cheese curds, that's what I would have right now.
Oh my goodness, that'd be amazing. Okay, if you could be any animal, what would you be and why?
I think I'd be a cat.
Yes.
Because I just feel like I like the attitude of being lazy and judgmental, kind of doing your own thing.
I would love you when I feel like it. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that just happened. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's weird. Oh no, sorry.
No worries.
Okay. Who is your favorite superhero and why?
Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman. I am like the only person who has not really seen, other than like Wonder Woman and then in the other franchise, Captain Marvel. I haven't like the whole modern superhero thing has passed me by. Okay. But I did used to have the Wonder Woman underoos, and I made my own bracelets and thing, and I had my jump rope as my lasso.
Yeah, you did. That's amazing. I can see it in my head. Okay, are you a morning person or a night person?
Morning.
Okay, what's the strangest thing you have ever eaten?
I don't really think I've eaten anything super strange. I did grow up in Minnesota where I have been like adjacent to people who have eaten lutefisk, which is fish pickled in lye, but I've not done that myself.
That's yes.
Well, I can't. I'm bombing. I can't think of anything.
That's
really
okay.
weird.
That's okay. All right. Where would you go if you were invisible?
I don't think I would go anywhere like super weird or forbidden. I think I would just like enjoy like sneaking into movies and like not waiting. And you know what I would do? I would go to Disney and I would not wait in line.
Absolutely. Yes. I love it. Okay. What was the last song you listened to recently?
I listened to in the car earlier today. Do you remember We Built This City on Rock and Roll by
Oh
Starship?
my gosh, absolutely, yes.
I just got part of my pandemic like self-care was I finally subscribed to Spotify so I can like hear whatever I want, whenever I want. And I'm on like a very slick kind of phase right now.
Nice, nice. I love it. What is your favorite movie?
Favorite movie? This is hard.
Okay, what's your favorite genre of movie then?
Well, like if I'm gonna sit down and watch a movie, I'm gonna watch a rom-com for sure.
Okay.
But I think my favorite movie is actually the first Harry Potter movie because and it's partly about the movie because I do remember seeing it the first time when it was out in the theater, and I don't even know what year it was, but like the floating candles to me at the time seemed very like wow, like you know CGI fancy. And then my experience of Harry Potter is sort of like this weird time turning thing because then I experienced it again through my kid, and the first time he watched it, we all watched it together.
And it was so amazing.
It was like magical.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, I fully support that. Okay, if you could be any flavor of ice cream, what flavor ice cream would you be?
I think mint chocolate chip.
Oh yeah, so good. I love mint chocolate. It's underrated, I feel like.
Yeah, right? I feel like it's classic, but it's got like a little ring to it.
It does. So good. Okay, one more question.
Okay.
What is your favorite summer activity? What is your favorite thing to do in summer?
Well, you know, I would have said something different last year, but this year it is going to the drive-in. So we have a drive-in that we never go to, except this year we've been going to the drive-in all the time. And I've gone with my family, but I also have gone with a friend and we pull like the cars up next to each other.
Oh, how
Somebody
cool
moves over to the other side, roll down the windows, watch the movie.
Oh, that's so fun. How cool is that? What a great experience, right?
Yeah, we've seen the Goonies and Dirty Dancing. I didn't take my kid to Dirty Dancing, obviously.
No, you didn't.
But that was the girlfriend movie.
Yes, I love that though, and that they're all Goonies. Oh my gosh, I love that movie.
Yeah, it was fun. It was really fun.
Yeah.
And you know, you see the cartoon, like they do the Canadian national anthem first, like totally old school, and then you get the cartoons.
That's very fun. I think we did good.
Yeah.
I'm popping back in. So we'll just start doing questions if everyone wants. If you have a question for Jenny and Helena, both of them, one of them, feel free to mention it in the chat. I will relay it to them. So have at it. I am definitely team pineapple and pizza.
Yay.
Yeah. So good.
He is so good.
Go ahead.
A combination of toppings that it's probably, I'm like one of 4 people in the world who like it. But if you put pepperoni, bacon, ham, hot peppers, green olives.
You lost me at olives.
I know. A lot of people. And then pineapple, it is like incredible. But
so,
just take that.
I'd be done with that. I like that.
It's so good. Oh my gosh.
Tej in the chat asks Helena, did you practice making cupcakes while writing Kiss My Cupcake?
Well, I make them every year for my daughter for her birthday. And sometimes I'll just make them to make them. But I have not mastered cooked buttercream icing, and that is one thing that I would like to do because it's lighter and it's fluffier and it's not as sweet.
Might I suggest an Italian meringue? Those are super easy to make.
And it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super easy.
Ooh.
Stephanie asks, you both have so many books. Do you have a favorite of your own or one that you would recommend starting with or a must read? So where would you, if someone asked you where to start with your books, which one would you tell them to read first?
Jenny, you go first.
I would, it's not my total favorite, but it is a favorite, and it's a good place to start, is a book called One and Only, which is book 1 in a series called Bridesmaids Behaving Badly.
There is some Wonder Woman love in there, by the way. Now that
it's Xena.
Oh, Xena.
Xena Warrior Princess. She dresses up. She's a cosplayer. She dresses up as Xena.
I love it. If I think it really depends on who I was introducing my books to, but I do think Kiss My Cupcake is probably a really fun, gentle introduction to my writing before you get like into the other crazy, because there's some crazy stuff. So like, yeah, some of it is like really intensely fun and funny, but if you just kind of want to get your toes wet, Kiss My Cupcake or Meet Cute are probably two of the books that I would recommend.
I think it was Estelle asked me to make like a cocktail for Meet Cute, and I made that peanut butter like boozy milkshake.
Yes.
It was very good.
So delicious. Oh my goodness.
Michelle wants to know if either of you have an all-time favorite book other than Harry Potter.
All-time favorite? I love the Twilight series. I mean,
did you read Midnight Sun?
I have it. I haven't had time. Yeah. It released on my daughter's birthday, and then book release means, yeah, I haven't had, but I am going to read it. I have it. Don't spoil it for me.
Jenny, do you have a favorite book?
I don't know if I have a favorite, but like one of my go-to romance favorites is Burn Down the Night by Molly O'Keefe, writing as M. O'Keefe.
Oh.
It is
that one is very good.
Yeah, I mean, there's no spoiler here because it happens right away. Starts with the heroine like taking the hero hostage, and
she kidnaps him. It's great.
Yeah,
oh my gosh! Oh, I have to read this.
It is,
and it's one of those books that, like, I mean, it's the opposite of what we're talking about. It's not a rom-com at all, but it is one of those books that just like, you know, takes your heart and goes, shoves it back in, and it's like painful, but you just feel like you have gone through something, you know.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that.
He spends a good portion of the book handcuffed to a bed.
Oh my gosh.
In like a little rundown motel.
Wow.
Or like apartment complex. Yeah.
She has her reasons.
No, totally valid.
Like, okay. I really, now I have to read this.
You should.
I'll put it on my very short TBR. That is probably about as long as a roll of toilet paper.
Lenice wants to know, what word count do you shoot for when you're writing a new book?
Like the overall word count of the whole book, or like a daily word count?
Why not both?
It depends if I'm okay. So most of my books are between 80 and 100,000 words. That's usually the average. And then if I'm just in a writing phase, which is very rare these days, I will anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 words, and anything over 5,000 I would consider it a really nice bonus a day.
I'm like in awe of that. I don't write that much in a day ever.
It depends on the book though.
Yeah, my books are usually around 90 to 95,000 words. And even when I try, like, so people may not know, usually when you sell a book to a traditional publisher, you actually have a contracted length that you are, you know, it's usually give or take 10 or 20,000 words. I'm always trying to aim for the low end, but I always completely overshoot the high end, and then I have to pull it back. So my books are about 95,000 words. Sometimes they're a little bit longer. Like full-length novels, I do have a lot of novellas that I've written. And I will consider it a good day if I top 2,000 words.
Okay. And that's not unusual. Like that's a baseline. I think it's pretty normal. I think I'm just weird.
Lenice also has a follow-up about your writing process. Do you have a particular location in your house? Do you work better during like morning versus night?
Jenny, do you want to start?
I usually write in an office where I am now. Sometimes I move outside. Like I have no I just kind of write wherever. And before we lived in this house, I didn't have a dedicated space. I just carried my laptop around. I write in the morning. I try to do as much as I can in the morning because I kind of run out of steam as the day goes on. This is all pandemic has kind of screwed with everything because I got people in my face all the time now. But usually, although what I will say, my Harry Potter loving child, I do feel like I have the pandemic hack is that I got him a Kobo. He's into spy fiction, and there's a lot of middle grade spy novel series that go on and on and on and on and on, and said, like took the vacation fund that's not being spent and said, you can buy whatever you want. And the Kobos also interface with the library. So it's not in the library, you can buy it and you can stay up as late as you want as long as you're reading. And he thinks he's getting away with something because during the day we would fight about like Minecraft or screen time, but at night, if he doesn't have to sleep, he thinks reading is like a big, like, ooh, he's getting away with something. So he stays up later than my husband and I do, and I like wake up in the morning and get the little Kobo, like, at 10:40 p.m. like receipts in my email. He sleeps in, and I try to get as much work as I can done while he's sleeping in as a result. So I've basically like time shifted him to suit my own Slytherin purposes. But I will have to ratchet him back when school starts. Yes,
you will. But that's so fantastic that the Kobo has become a thing. That's amazing. I work only in my office most of the time. Sometimes I will work outside. We like on the back deck if it's a nice day out. Because in Canada we only get like 3 months where you can actually sit outside comfortably without lots of extra clothes on. And yeah, I work in my office as soon as I get up in the morning, and I try and get most of my writing. Usually I aim for between 2,000 and 3,000 words in the morning because the afternoon I usually don't write as much. So, and then take care of like business email stuff and social media and all that kind of business.
Essie wants to know, what is the craziest scene you've written?
What about, do you have one off the top of your head?
No. I mean, I feel like some of I tend to do like big dramatic grand gestures at the end of my book that are often funny, but I feel like I feel like that'll spoil them if I.
Well, yeah, you don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to give those away.
Why, do you have one? You go if you have one.
Well, I have a book that isn't released that there's some scenes in it that I really love, but I can't talk about them yet because. But they're so in as well past. No, in Hooking Up, there are so my mom is. I'm going to preface this by saying my mom has read all of my books, and when Hooking Up came out, it's a little steamier than most of my other books. But there's a scene in it in which she is going through the airport security, and she brings the wrong bag as her carry-on, and it's literally full of like all of her toys that were coming with her on vacation, and like they just go, oh, it's so embarrassing but so fun. It was fun, but I don't know, that's not the craziest thing I've written, but it was fun. I enjoyed writing it. I laughed and laughed.
And then let's see, we have a question from Liz Ann who wants to know about your audiobooks. Who decides which books are turned into audiobooks, and do you have any say in the narrators that get picked?
Jenny, do you want to go first?
Well, the answer is it depends. So if you are writing for a publisher as opposed to independently publishing your books, which I think we've both done both models.
Yeah.
The audio rights will be something that is discussed by your agent as part of the contract negotiation. So they may stay with the rights may stay with the publisher. The rights may be delegated to you, in which case your agent could sell them independently. So it kind of depends who controls the rights. So the first answer is whoever controls the rights decides if there's going to be one. If the publisher controls the rights, they may make it in-house. They may license it to an audio company. Usually, in my experience, I've never done my own audiobooks or my indie books. Maybe you have, but all my audiobooks have been produced either by the publishers or by audio publishers that those rights have been sold to, either by my agent or my publisher. So I usually have been asked my opinion about narrators. Like often I'll get a list they'll say, here's 4, which do you like? But I don't choose the narrator, and I wouldn't want to. I don't really listen to audiobooks very much, like hardly at all. So I don't think I'm qualified to know.
So I think every book has audio, and my first 2, like Clipped Wings and Inked Armor, they pick the narrators and that. But when I started self-publishing, that was when I sort of got a little bit more in tune with audio and narrators. And by the time I got, I think, to the second book in the Puck series, I love audio, and I love listening to books, and I love the narrators. And so I'm like in love with Jacob Morgan and Jason Clark's voices. Oh, they are fantastic. So I always have a short list of people that I would like to narrate the books, and yeah, I'm a huge audio fan. I love audio so much. Jason Morgan, Jacob Morgan, and Jason Clark. Oh my gosh, their voices. Magic in your ears.
Denise also asks, what careers did each of you have before becoming authors?
Oh, Jenny, what did you do?
I was a writer, surprise, like a professional writer.
You're a professional writer now, Jen.
Well, not a fiction writer. I worked, I did a whole bunch of different jobs, mostly in the university sector. Like I was a fundraising writer, or I wrote, like you name it. I wrote speeches, I wrote magazine articles, I edited a research magazine. Yeah, so I always made my money writing one way or the other.
Very cool. I worked with special needs for a very significant amount of time. Yeah, with exceptional individuals. It was a really fantastic job, and sometimes heartbreaking. But I loved it. I loved it when I did it. Worked with some really amazing people.
So I have a food question for both of you. What is your ultimate cupcake combination in terms of cake and icing?
Okay, so I'm a really big fan of maple. I think we probably already know that. Jenny and I both know that we love maple. So maple and bacon together.
Yeah.
Maple and bacon, absolutely, hands down, I would put those 2 together with like a bourbon, cupcake with bourbon.
Oh my gosh. There's a donut place in New England that has a maple bacon bourbon donut. It is so good.
Yeah. So
good.
Everything about that sounds right. Okay.
Oh yeah, there's a donut place. It's called Union Square Donuts. Stephanie knows. But they have like my favorite one is a Vietnamese iced coffee donut. So it's glazed.
That would be good.
It's so good. It's in I believe Somerville, Massachusetts. Might be out of your way, Stephanie.
Man.
But they're so good. So good.
Fantastic.
Jenny, your ultimate cupcake combo?
Well, I would start with the frosting, which Canadians call icing. That's a weird little difference. Cream cheese.
Oh yeah.
Frosting on pretty much anything. I would eat it on styrofoam, but I guess chocolate, probably chocolate with cream cheese. But I will tell you that tomorrow I am making a strawberry gluten-free cake with strawberry cream cheese icing. So.
Oh my goodness! Wow, that's gonna be amazing. Take pictures.
Yeah, I will. I'm not very good at cake. It's going to be like a layer cake, and I'm not I go for taste, not visual. So
that's okay.
Consider yourself warned.
It's going to be delicious. I bet it's going to be amazing.
Does anyone have any final questions? Just a reminder. Someone said, Helena, when are you and Deborah going to write a book together?
When we have time. And it will happen. Well, I mean, it's going to happen. It just, it'll happen.
It'll happen when it happens.
And it's been a busy couple of years. So,
just a reminder, if anyone didn't hear it when we first started, but Helena has signed book plates and little cupcake coasters that she sent to Belmont.
yeah.
So,
are these ones?
yeah. What does the other side look like? Is there a back side?
There isn't, but I also have those ones for the nightcap, which is the ball.
No, I think it's the author one.
Oh, you have yes, yeah, I have author ones. Yeah, those.
Yes, so we have the author cupcake coaster. So if you buy from Belmont and choose one of Helena's books, they'll be signed with the book plate with a little coaster. They're super cute.
And useful.
But yeah, any final questions? If you had a choice of whether to spend the night at the cupcake and cocktail bar or like the pub with axe throwing, which would you choose?
I would choose Ronan.
just to look at him while you
just to look at him. Just to look at him, I would choose Ronan. But Blair could come and bring cupcakes, and then it would be perfect.
They should just tear down, like the wall and do like a little joint.
They should just tear down the wall.
That's such a good idea.
It's such a good idea. Oh my goodness. Just throw an axe right through it.
Yeah. Maybe. Jenny, where would you go?
Oh, the pub. I would go. I once took over Forever Romance's Instagram account and went axe throwing, in fact. So
that's exciting.
Yeah, axe throwing is super fun.
Michelle says to Jenny, "Thank you for writing about grief so honestly."
Oh, thank you.
And I think Michelle
You're
also
welcome.
mentioned.
That feels like a brief thing. Glad you loved my grief. Woo!
I think Michelle also mentioned earlier that she made the pizza from your book with prosciutto.
I know her by her Twitter or her Instagram handle, which is different. Yeah, the pizza is not just Hawaiian. It's like, like grilled pineapple with a balsamic glaze and prosciutto.
Oh.
So she made one.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That sounds like the perfect combination of salty and sweet.
Yeah.
I always love when a book or a romance gets people to like try to do things that they read in there, whether it's like going snowboarding or cooking something.
And I have food in my books a lot, and to be honest, before Instagram, I never really thought that much about it, but now I realize that people are going to actually make this stuff, so I should maybe think about it a little bit because
people are going to start sending you like photos of gourmet grilled cheeses that they've made.
Yeah. Well, people do make grilled cheeses on Instagram. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite kind of cheese to use in your grilled cheeses?
Well, the best grilled cheese is plain, like cheddar, old cheddar, sharp old cheddar. Yes. But the key, and people are going to disagree with me, but the key is you put the butter in the pan and then you put mayonnaise on the bread.
On the bread.
Yes, Jenny!
Right? And it makes a crust. Because really what people are going oh, mayonnaise, but really what's mayonnaise? It's oil and egg, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it makes like a savory French toast sort of crust.
It's almost like kind of like a Monte Cristo without you dipping it in a whole pile.
Right.
Of it. Yeah.
Exactly.
I did a podcast episode with Sarah Wendell from Smart Bitches Trashy Books.
Yes.
Where I work. And I mentioned that that's my little grilled cheese hack, and the comments were like very divisive on I would never touch mayo. I was like, you don't even taste the mayo, I promise. Yeah. It just makes it so crispy.
So better. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it next time.
You should.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Report back.
I will.
Tell me if your life has changed.
My life changer. Oh my goodness. Yeah, sounds right.
All right. I think we're done for the event. Thank you all so much for coming. This was so great.
Thank you so much for having us. This was wonderful. Jenny, it was so great to chat with you.
You too. Next time outside with our Canadian stereotypes.
That's
Outfits
right.
and
We're gonna do
drinks.
maple shots and
Yeah.
wear plaid and say A a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Estelle is leading a charge for everyone to move to Canada. So,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It's a good place. We like it.
but thank you both so much for joining me, and best of luck on the launch this week, and Jenny Paradise Cove and your upcoming like sexy Hallmark romance coming out.
Thank you.
So fun.
And
Thanks so much.
yeah, of course. I don't know if any of you are you guys doing events on Saturday? Or any of you doing events on Saturday?
No.
No.
No? Oh, that's a bummer. Are you going to attend any events for Bookstore Romance Day?
I would love to, but I will not be in a place where there is any sort of internet.
I mean, that's probably for the best. Right now, I feel like everyone else wants to be in a place where there is no internet.
There is none. I'll be very lucky if I have one bar on my phone about 10% of the time.
That sounds lovely.
It is.
Yes.
It's so wonderful. I'm so excited.
Well, enjoy the off the grid weekend.
Yeah. It'll be fun off the grid weekend.
Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Night.
Great night.
Bye.
Bye.